Upcoming insurance rant in 10 seconds. My name's Michelle. I have breast cancer and I'm sharing my journey here with everyone. So I have made it no mystery that I am very frustrated with the healthcare industry, and events of the past couple of weeks have just solidified that. So I started receiving a couple weeks ago some letters in the mail stating each letter was individually for each doctor, stating that such and such doctor is in negotiations with Fidelis, which is my current health care plan, my health insurance, and that if they did not reach an agreement by mid-July, then I would need to find new doctors. And there was a grace period, I believe, until the middle of August for that. I received about 6 or 7 of these letters, and basically each of those, when all was said and done, it was pretty much my entire oncology team that was no longer going to be potentially participating in my healthcare plan. Um, so I was just kind of, waiting a little bit, thinking that these negotiations were legitimate negotiations. And then on Friday last week, I received a phone call. It was an automated message, so I didn't get to talk to anybody, telling me that Fidelis was currently in negotiations with Northwell. And if you are not familiar with Long Island healthcare setup, Northwell is one of a handful of a few major health networks across Long Island and this area. And it just so happens that Northwell is the healthcare network that every single one of my doctors, including the cancer center that I go to for treatment, is all part of Northwell. So if Fidelis and Northwell cannot come to an agreement by mid-July, that means that not only every single one of my oncology doctors, but also the cancer center that I go to, I would no longer be able to go to. So, of course, I was livid and frustrated and anxious and just beside myself, and I resent completely that I would have to even think about this in the middle of my treatment. And not just me, the other thousands, there's hundreds of thousands of people that are that use Fidelis, that are part of the Northwell healthcare management system. What that would mean for me as well as everybody else that has to deal with this nonsense. So I've really been thinking about that a lot over the weekend, and I had multiple conversations with people, and several people had, people have all kinds of suggestions, and yeah, they're all great ideas, but it's just a matter of whether or not they can be implemented. Sure, could I find other doctors? Absolutely. We are not at a loss of doctors across Long Island, but who in the hell wants to, midway through treatment, search out, first find other doctors, ones that you can trust? You need referrals, you need all this other stuff, and then you got to start going to another. It would be a whole new network. So of course all the information would have to be taken in all over again, so you start all over again. So could I find other doctors? Yeah. Do I want to? Hell no, because it would be not just one doctor but multiple, every single one of my doctors. Can I switch healthcare plans? I don't know. I'm through the marketplace. Can I switch healthcare plans? I have no idea. So I actually looked yesterday. I didn't even know if there were other plans that were available to me that were part of the essential plan, which is what I have. And in fact, there are actually several other healthcare plans, health insurance companies that also have an essential plan that I would qualify for. So last night I started doing some research about which of my doctors takes each of the health insurance plans. And I came down to, I've actually come to where it looks like, Emblem takes and works with all of my doctors and my cancer center. So I'm potentially leaning towards Emblem. I'm just double checking with the doctors themselves. I'm not going by what the website says, because those are often not up to date. But I'm double checking with doctors. And then I also have to see if I am authorized to switch plans mid-year, which I hope I am. I think I am. I saw one note that said something about if you're part of the essential plan, you can, but that wasn't on that website. It was a Google search, so I got to, again, do some more research about that. But anyway, the whole point is there an out? Yeah, there's an out. There's an alternative. There are other things that I can potentially do that can get around this situation. But the point is, I shouldn't have to. I should not have to think about this mid-year, mid-treatment. Nobody should. This is fucking ridiculous. And I'm sorry for the language, but it is absolutely ridiculous. I was chatting with one of the nurses, at the facility, at the cancer facility on Friday. And she's like, well, why don't they just do this at the end of the year when people are naturally looking for new health care plans? Oh, I don't know, Amanda. It's a great question. You're absolutely right. I don't know why. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? But no, they have to do it mid-year so that everything is upheaved. Anyway, that's where that stands. I'm not going to go on a tangent on this too long because I don't want to make too long of a video, and I don't want to be too negative about it because I finally wrapped my head around at least some kind of plan for me, because now I know there are alternate insurance plans out there that I could potentially get. But still have a lot more research to do. Anyway, but I didn't want to let another day go by without mentioning it, because I think there are people that may not even be aware that this is happening, and I don't want you to be caught in a situation where you are scrambling to find doctors. So if you are in the Fidelis healthcare system, you use Fidelis for your insurance, they are currently in negotiations with Northwell, and it's looking like it is not going to happen, like it's not going to get renewed, that Northwell and Fidelis are ending their relationship. So start doing your research, figure out what your next step is, what your alternate plan is going to be. I recommend looking into Emblem because it seems like they cover a lot of my doctors, but that's for me. I don't know who your doctors are. I don't know where you work. Anyway, that's it. Take care of yourselves.